your organization also have, reach out or deal with other people who have PTSD from different life experiences, like domestic abuse, or
Okay.
they were overseas and now they have witnessed terrorism, per se.
Right. So one of the beauties of what I'm able to do with my organization, because I don't go through grants and I don't go through other government funding mechanisms, is I can help whoever I want to help. And when you're not controlled, you know, it's amazing what you can do. With that being said, I focus primarily on veterans and veterans' families. You know, you can only do what you can do. And if I expand it too far, then I'm gonna be looking more like a business than somebody who's out there to really help. So if somebody's been a victim of terror, you know, a witness of terrorism, if somebody's had prior service, a spouse of a veteran, spouse of a deceased veteran, veteran's child that may have some PTSD issues from some type of trauma not associated with the military, I would be willing to help in all those circumstances. Outside of that area, I'm not really focusing on, but I do, you know, I can refer people to groups that can help with that. Does that answer your question, sir? Ma'am?
Yeah. I just was curious, what kind of services does the dog actually provide?
Okay. So for her, besides chewing herself right now, so she can do several things. One thing is a calming therapy for me. For those that were out at the flag burning, Raymond was able to witness it. What she is able to do is she's able to create space around me. You know, I told you I don't do well in crowds. So one of the things she does is, you know, she helps make sure that there's nothing within arm's reach of me. And she does that basically using herding skills. There are several other tasks that can be taught. You can teach a dog to go get your medicine, turn on and off lights, open doors, open the refrigerator, bring you water to take your medicine. You can train them for seizure response. You can train them for stability. That's one of the things she's trained in, to help me get up and down stairs when I need it. She helps pull me up. I know I look okay, but sometimes, you know, I keep a cane in the back of my car because some days are worse than others. With that being said, there are unlimited possibilities. The only thing that limits them is your imagination and your willingness to work with the dog. Sorry.
I don't mean to bring up a potentially sore subject, but you mentioned a previous service dog you had, Chaos.
Right. Chaos.
Was the did Chaos pass away?
Yeah, he passed away. He got an ear infection, and he passed away the day after Christmas in 2013. That was my forever dog. Her and I are bonded significantly, but I've never experienced a bond like I had with that dog. He was an amazing, phenomenal dog.
And did he come into your life as a service dog?
No, he came in my life as a German Shepherd when I was breeding German Shepherds.
Interesting.
And throughout our time, you know, I've had dogs that were worth $12,000 that couldn't even hold a candlestick to this dog.
Sure.
And the bond and the loyalty that we developed was just, it was as strong as the bond of brotherhood. Yeah.
Wonderful. Did you eventually train Chaos?
As a service dog, yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Actually, Chaos did the same thing that she does. So after I trained him as a service dog, with me, I have to have a dog that's capable of doing just about anything. So when I work with a veteran, I train them to train their dogs.
Could you describe that process?
Okay. About every 2 weeks, I'll meet with the veteran on the weekend. We'll meet at a park, we'll meet at Lowe's, we'll meet at PetSmart, we'll meet at pet-friendly locations. And I'll train the soldier first in basic obedience, second in advanced obedience, third in public access training. So being able to take the dog into public and wherever it needs to go. And then lastly, they'll learn the service dog task that they need to perform. Depending on the dog, that can take 6 months and it can take 2 years. And it also depends on the veteran, because the veteran's gonna be doing it and they have to be willing to do it. That reduces costs for me, and it also puts an onus on the veteran immediately. And what that does for a veteran is it says, I've got a mission in life now. So for a veteran that may have not have had anything before, now they have somebody that's responsible and dependent upon them for their survival. And what that does is that gives the veterans a desire to live that they might not have had before. And it gives them a purpose that they may not have had before. And every 2 weeks it gives them something to look forward to, because in Missouri, the way I had it set up, we'd meet, we'd go to training, and then we'd go to Chick-fil-A or something like that after training, and the veterans, these combat veterans, would get together and share their stories, and that's better group therapy than any VA can provide.
Sure.
You know, when you get veterans sitting there talking and helping each other, it doesn't get better than that.
Excellent.
Are you service dogs exclusively for veterans, or do you extend that service to veterans and their families?
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. You know, I'll work with veterans. I'll work with veterans' family members. I'll work with people that have been victims of terrorist attacks. You know, my intention is to help our veteran community and those that have been affected by the Taliban. It's kind of a way to fight back. You know, I mean, it's no different than taking a soldier on the battlefield who's got a combat wound and putting a tourniquet on. You know, I'm there to stop the bleeding. The pain's going to continue to go. The injury's going to continue to go. But I'm going to stop the bleeding, and I'm going to get them to where they can go ahead and continue mission in life. And whether that's with the soldier or the family member, wherever it is that I can provide that, I will. As long as I have the resources, you know. And that's the hard part, is having the time, energy, and resources, because I have a full-time job too. And you know, being able to balance those things in life, family priorities, job priorities, and then organization priorities, political priorities, religious priorities, you know, it takes quite a bit to be able to balance it all out. So I do what I can with what I can, and make the best of it. Eventually, one day, I may be able to do it exclusively, but right now, that's not the case.
Are there any other questions?
You had mentioned earlier, and it's actually within the last 24 hours fresh from me, and I just wanted to get your response to it. You were talking about it's kind of hard to change people's minds when their minds are already made up, and you had mentioned like Vietnam, and the veterans from Vietnam, Korea, and you know those that we still have left from World War II.
Right.
Yesterday, when I was in the hospital, my own conditions, I had one last roommate. I went through 3 roommates. They were all actually pretty cool, right? The last one, he was an 83-year-old man, 83-year-old Polish man. He's a Vietnam vet. And he lay next to me, dying of a disease similar to one that I'm fighting all over again right now. And when he came in, the nurses, okay, they were all doing their jobs very well. They did the best they possibly could. Thank you, Obamacare, for making their lives a living hell. They could not give him every single thing that he needed. And all he needed was 5 minutes for someone to listen to him. So I moved the curtains over, and I talked to him for 5 minutes. He came in hysterics, crying, screaming. Nobody would listen to him. They were just wanted to, obviously focus on getting him, the medical attention they needed just to save his physical life.
Right.
And I gave him 5 minutes, and I got him to stop crying, and he started laughing. And it was hard for him to laugh. It hurt, but he laughed.
Right.
And after that was done, one of the nurses came by, and she said, "Thank you." She said, "How did you do that?" I said, "Because I don't have to play by the rules you do. You're bound by what the government wants you to do." I said, "I'm just speaking, as a patient to another patient right now."
Right.
And she said, "The next person that I see, that I know, is a Vietnam vet. If I have to break the rules, I will. It's not fair." And I feel terrible. I said, "No, you did a great job.
Yeah.
You're doing your job. That's all anyone can ask of you."
Yeah.
Given do you think that is possible, in the VA or just in private hospitals, for people to have that sort of a reaction that she had with just the one thing that I did and maybe try, or do you not really see that?
That goes back to what your question, remember when I was talking about the medication?
Yeah.
And I was saying, the care of veterans needs to be left to the physicians that are providing the care, not to a government agency controlling or influencing the direction of how that care is going to be provided. With that being said, hospitals are run like corporations, and they're going to do what is most cost effective versus life effective. And so I think it centers around, yes, you have government regulations that cause it, but you also have people that, everybody has a decision. When you read the story about Walden's Pond, basically Henry David Thoreau, who was one of the early philosophers here in the U.S., he went to jail instead of paying taxes. Well, the person who had to take him to jail was an old friend of his, and he said, "Look, just pay the taxes." And Henry David Thoreau's like, "No." And he's like, "I don't want to take you to jail. You're my friend. Just pay the tax." And Henry David Thoreau looked at him and he said, "Well, you have a choice. You still have a choice. You can resign your office." And individually, we each have choices that we can make. They may cost us our job. They may cost us what we do. But we have human decisions that we have to make that are based on our ethics and our principles. So do I think it's possible? Yes. I think you need to change the culture of, the medical system in order for that to happen. But I think that anything's possible. But like we were talking about, what we need is leadership. We need a lion. We have enough lambs in our country. We need a lion. We need somebody, who's going to get out there and lead on principle and ethics and lead with wisdom, instead of somebody who's going to lead based on emotions or the whims of the population around them just so that they can have office next 4 years. That's the only thing that's going to change the culture in our society is leadership. Because right now everything's based off emotion. Everything's based off, feelings. And it's not based off of reason and good, effective leadership. And I think once we have that, things will change. Anybody else?
On that, quickly, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to press this, I'm just curious. So you don't apply for grants. Who Who's Saving Who accept funding from a, some sort of nonprofit organization?
From
that-
nonprofits, from businesses, from individuals.
Yeah.
Hey, what I don't want is I don't want somebody telling me, hey, you have to do this in order to get this.
Okay, sure.
I don't mind leaving the books open and saying, here's where the money goes.
Mhm.
But what I do mind is somebody telling me what I have to do with the money. Because what I need to be able to do is effectively help as many people as possible, and I'm the one that knows how to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Do you have a website?
It's on Facebook, Who's Saving Who.
Cool. Mark, thanks a lot for coming.
Yes, sir.
I really enjoyed talking to you. All right, by the way, guys, over there to the corner are some t-shirts. It's exclusively for the paid members. So, you know, if you're interested in getting one, it's free. You can just check the sizes to see whether or not they fit. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed the interview.
It's great.